everyone, what is up? Welcome back to another video. It is me, the Review Master 19 here, and yes, before you say anything, you've already reviewed this, in which I have. This is not a review of the Cobi Sturmgeshutz IV Ausf G. This is a review of the Cobi Sturmgeshutz IV Ausf G brand new interior. The model itself came with a little bit of interior, but I've made it a bit more accurate and finally finished it, and it's all done. So I'm going to show you. Here is Hans, the German tank commander, of course. Very nice, with his boots. Very nice. And he's got a six-pack for some reason. So I started off with the shield. Now the shield on the real Stug, or Sturmgeshutz as I'm going to call it, hinged down, and on the model I wanted to have it have some functionality. So on the model it does hinge down, but on my model I wanted it to be a bit accurate, so I modified a few things, hence the gaps. And if you just pull it up and you just push that, it folds down just like the real Sturmgeshutz did. And of course you can actually fold it back up just like that. And the gun doesn't have a feed anymore, that black hinge, that's removed. It is now replaced by a plate, just like on the real Sturmgeshutz. And the hatch here for the, it's really hard to open, so just give me a minute. The hatch here does actually open, okay. And I'll show you a little bit of the inside. You can't really see much, I know, but it's very dark in there. But you can see what appears to look like a butt of a gun, and that is the butt of the MG34. And to access it, or 42, all you need to do is remove the top panel, which has been renewed with a smooth tile now. And you can take the machine gun out. This might actually be a bit harder to do, so remove that panel. You can actually take the machine gun out. As you can see, there's a holder for it, just like the real Sturmgeshutz. Okay, place this bit back on. Place this on. And of course, the MG34 or 42 still has its mag well, or magazine well, and it can actually fit inside the shield, like so. Of course, it's going to look a lot better with my Cobi figure holding it. So you can get a Cobi figure holding it. That's what he looks like holding it. And of course, the shield actually has some degree of movement, which the other one didn't have, so you can move it up and down, and you can move the figure as well. When you move the figure, it moves the gun, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so for storage of the gun, you just take it out, come around to this side, lift up a bit, give you an overhead shot, that's better. Remove this panel, hinge the shield forward, so then put that like that. Remove this panel, okay, and the gun, or the machine gewehr, goes inside that little loop like that, and that is how you can store the machine gun. And to put everything back together, you just simply put this tile back. That goes on like that. You can shut the hatch like that, and all I've done to make the hinge work is, well, I've added a jumper plate there. So you just lift it up. It's very simple. You just lift it up and it just closes. And it has a nice flush feel to it, which is lovely. Another thing I've done is I've added some bars, which is nice, to give it a bit of a rugged look. The front of the Sturmgeshutz is the same, except the driver's area on the Ausf G, this was different because it had a little panel which opened up. you can actually open it. You can't fit a figure inside, but there is some tiller levers on the inside. If you don't know what tiller levers are, they're basically what controls the tank movement left and right. So those are in there. They do move, but I'm not going to bother moving them. You can actually fit a Cobi figure in here if you actually change their bodies and stuff, but you might be able to fit a figure in here. I don't know. Oh, yep, you can definitely fit a figure in here if you move the tiller levers back and you lift his hands up. You can put the driver in like that. And it really doesn't look good, but you know, it's there anyway. And of course the tiller levers, well, they can go back. Just simply removing this hatch and then getting like a tool or a prong or something. And of course, moving the levers. But yeah, there are tiller levers in there, and I'm not going to muck around with it too much. But yep, there are tiller levers in there for the driver. So that's an added little bit of detail that I added, and I did actually have to modify them a bit. But yeah, pretty cool. And for some reason the camera's not focusing. Focus please on the tillers, thank you. Very nice. And there was a little panel in there, but I had to remove it because it just wouldn't work. And the hatch is hinged, so it now locks. So it's not floppy, it actually is on a little joint. The gun, or the Selkopf as it's called, or pig's head, has the full degree of elevation. So left, that's right. And then it's got left and then mid up and mid down, but mainly left and right, because that's the Sturmgeshutz main ability. Warning, if you do get this kit, this you want to be very careful of, because it kept coming off, so I fastened it and it's not coming off anymore. The tracks still roll very nicely, no modification to there. On the external, on the exterior, there's not much detail that, well, there is. There's like a little jacker box here, little fuel cap thing here, which wasn't on the real Stug, but I just put it there just to give it some, you know, life and depth. And I've also added some chains, which is nice, which were originally on these. But yeah, and you've got the exhaust there, because the Ausf G version was actually built off the chassis of the Panzer IV. Alright, so now I'm going to jump cut and we're going to get into the interior, but before we do that, let's have a look at the engine deck. Having a look at the engine deck, as you can see, it has not been modified at all, still comes off, and inside you can see the, I'm not even going to pronounce what engine that is, but it's a engine. You can remove, lift up the ventilator cover. I did actually add a tiny bit more detail just by adding a black one of these on there, and the engine does come out. You just lift the coolant pipe and you just take it off, or in other cases just do that and wiggle it, and of course you can take the engine off. Don't know if I covered this in my last video, but you got the spark plug. This is a printed part, it doesn't come with a model. I found this off a Cobi Tiger 1 that I had. Yep, so pretty nice. And to put the engine back, it's very small space. You just simply have to move it, push it forward. It's very strange, but it does work and it does go in. And once it's gone in and the pipe is all secure, you can then lock the radiator and the panel goes back on. And it goes in really nice, fits like a glove. So now I'm going to show you the actual interior, because I know that's what you've been dying to see. We'll start with the obvious things of taking the hinged shield. We will then start with opening this panel, okay, or hatch, removing this panel, removing this, and then gently removing the commander's bit. Yes, the commander's hatch does open and close. Now here's the thing that I wanted on my model. Just like the real Sturmgeshutz, you can see the part for the periscope. That's how the gunner would see. On the model, I have made a custom scissor scope. Let me move the Stug out, because for some reason the camera's focusing on that. But yeah, scissor scope. So as you can see, you've got the sight there. Some rip-off binoculars, which are not Cobi, by the way. I got it off an old Mega Bloks figure or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it fits really well, so we glued that. And it does actually have some movement or options. So if you don't want it on there, you can remove it. Or you could just push it to the side, which is nice. But that's just a added bit of detail, of course, because I love the Cobi, but you could have done a much accurate interior on the Sturmgeshutz. So there. So you got a nice new scope there. Periscope scissor sight. Alright. Bring in the Sturm. So we'll bring in the Stug. Okay. And that wasn't supposed to happen. But yeah, you can take that off, or take the gun out as well. Take it out of its mount. So here is the Sturmgeshutz IV Ausf G Cobi interior, brand new. The gun's very nice. It has the elevation hand wheel, and yes, you can actually fit around in, but the gun comes off due to a modification that I made, because, you know, it's easier said than done. So I just added a jumper plate there, and I did some modifications here. I got a Lego little brick and heightened that up a bit, which is nice, and that's not supposed to be in there. That's come off of somewhere. Where has that come off of? I'll find it eventually. But yeah, the gun, it's very nice. You've got the Salkov pig's head. You've got the tanks there. You're supposed to be recuperating tank cylinders. You've got a little hand wheel, which was Lego. This is actually a Lego piece. And the Sturmgeshutz actually can take a round. But I'll show you that in great detail in a minute. Because we need to look at the more interior of the Stug. So, just like the real Sturmgeshutz, I have added a periscope block, spare block. You got the radio transceiver set. The original seat, which was with the Cobi, this was literally the only seat included in the kit. I have modified, and in case you're wondering how I've done that, it's very simple. I just got 2 clips and clipped it together. This seat here is for the gunner, and it can actually be folded down. So that you wanted like a little bed or something. Not that they would have that, but it's there anyway. And it flips up to reveal, well, space for your commander figure. So you can fit all 5 crew figures in here. Actually, all 4, because the Stug wasn't a big tank. It was an assault gun. So you can fit your commander there. And on top of that, you've got the gunner seat. Now, the gunner doesn't have much. He's got his foot pedal. And the camera's not focusing again. Hang on. See, there we go. So he's got his foot pedal there, which is nice, and he's got his little rangefinder. And there's even a fire extinguisher that I put at the back there, which is very nice. And of course, we have a little gauge for checking the coolants of the gun and stuff, which is nice. And we have ammunition storage, which on the model was placed very weirdly. It was like in 2 of these. I modified it so you can actually take out the gun holder. As you can see, it's the same swivel mechanism on the original one. And now we can see a better thing of the interior. So there is space under there if you want to maybe put something in there. But there's a fire extinguisher, the gunner's seat, then you've got the commander's seat. And then in here, you've got the driver. Here's his tiller levers, and here's, of course, in here, but you can't really see it. So the ammunition racks are really cool. Tried to make it as accurate to the real Stug as I could. But you can actually remove a casing, and you can actually load it into the breech, which You know, it doesn't really tell you. It's not all the way, but you know, you can do that. So now what I'm going to do is we are going to have a jump cut, have a few like photo shots of the interior of the model, and then that will be the end of the video. But overall, I hope you enjoyed, because that is my quick update and review of the Cobi Sturmgeshutz IV Ausf G custom interior remodel and update. Take care, guys.